Tzu Chi Disaster Relief and Medical Team safeguards quake survivors in Nepal against the outbreak of infectious diseases. In Taiwan, we learn more about hiking preparations for individuals and how to stay safe on the trail. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. We kick off the first segment of today's program in Nepal. Conditions in the tent communities where thousands of residents now live are primitive at best. And more worrying for the doctors is that the tents are extremely cramped. Helping inform and treat the residents of their physical illnesses has been Tzu Chi's medical team, who recently visited the tent community of Li Ba Li, where they found the threat of an outbreak of infectious disease to be very real. At this home, volunteers stand at the doorway while a nurse with protective gear enters the home alone. Such precautions are necessary as one member of this family suffers from TB, which has been left untreated. With the man currently still active, not only is his family at a high risk of contracting the disease, but his neighbors as well. At another tent, volunteers come upon a 74-year-old woman with an injured shoulder.
We all have a bone that protrudes here. In her healthy arm, it sits there. In the other one, it is absent. That means her shoulder is dislocated.
After looking at the senior's x-rays to confirm his diagnosis, Nurse Hong Shangqing quickly puts the shoulder back into place. Before leaving, Hong reviews the senior's medicine, only to discover that she too suffers from TB. Recently, the residents living in the tent community near Maswari had a problem with head lice. After their first clinic to remove the head lice, Tzu Chi volunteers returned once more to follow up with the pesky problem. Meanwhile, the Tzu Chi Disaster Relief and Medical Team held a free clinic in the tent community near the Monkey Temple. Bye. Here in Nepal's tent community in Sui and Bunath, residents no longer see Tzu Chi volunteers as strangers. Children happily greet the volunteers with a smile.
Namaste.
Tzu Chi's Disaster Relief and Medical Team quickly sets up the equipment for their free clinic, so doctors may get to work right away.
The living conditions are poor and residents are getting bitten by bugs. Some are suffering from rashes and other bug-related scratches. Although we are providing food, they still lack access to clean drinking water. So we see some stomach problems as well.
Okay.
During the 2-hour free clinic in Sui and Bunath, doctors helped 80 patients get the health care they needed. Meanwhile, another team of Tzu Chi volunteers visited the tent community in Maswari to hold a second head lice removal clinic. This time, with children at school, others gathered for their turn.
Last time we just poured out the water and it ran all over their faces. So this time we used a water bottle.
Not only spray bottles, but shower caps were also prepared this time. As volunteers washed the seniors' heads with chemical shampoo, the seniors rejoiced at the service. This is the second time the 75-year-old senior has come to wash her hair.
Last time I came because I saw a head loss. Perhaps after this wash it will disappear. It's fine if there isn't any shampoo. As long as there's water, it's refreshing enough.
Even seniors who didn't have head lice came to get their hair washed. Living in the tent community, residents lack easy access to water, and thus this clinic was a welcome sight.
The senior sat down in front of me, and so I washed his hair even though he didn't have head lice. I felt he was comforted by my washing.
Taking care of tent residents in the days following the quake, Tzu Chi volunteers hope their love and care will be here to stay despite their short visit. More than 1 month has passed since Nepal was struck by a major earthquake. However, to date, most of the damaged schools remain in shambles, even as students return to school. Today, DaAi's reporters head to the city of Bhaktapur to give us a closer look at this problem.
记者现在所在的位置是在巴塔普的一。
We are here in front of one of Bhaktapur's oldest public schools. This particular school sits on what used to be Hindu and Buddhist temples. But as we will see, following the earthquake, much of it has been left in ruins. In a moment, the principal of the school will give us a tour so we can see the damage for ourselves. The 300-year-old walls that were the foundation of the school now lay in ruins. Its principal recalls the terrifying moment when the earthquake hit.
Our friends were very afraid and they jumped and they came out from that door at the ground floor. After 30 seconds, the roof part of the building is collapsed.
In the name of safety, the school has knocked down most of the walls that are still standing. Bricks from the walls will be reused in the rebuilding process.
It is teacher's room. We were talking here, we were sitting around here. We were preparing the daily routine for our class.
Before the earthquake, the school looked like this. You can see the beauty of the 300-year-old architectures. Although students have returned for classes, they are now without proper classrooms.
These are the temporary building blocks for the students just for 2 years, and then we will move up these old makeshifts and we have to build a new building.
With rebuilding estimated to take 2 years, the costs associated are a major hurdle for the school, and thus it is seeking help from donors and NGOs worldwide to make it possible. Although classes have officially started in Nepal, many schools are still coping from the loss of classrooms and facilities. As it turns out, the government simply has no means to fund the massive rebuilding and can only reallocate donations made to the country by the international community.
At this school in Bhaktapur, Nepal, the principal and the construction crew are working together to install zinc sheets as the roof of this temporary classroom. The frame of the classroom is actually built with bamboo. It is hard to imagine that students will be studying here for the next 2 years.
We are asking for the government, and so government is not providing the enough fund to erect the building here. If we have enough fund, and first of all, we want to complete that building.
Of the school's 3 buildings, the main one was completely destroyed in a recent earthquake, while another one is only half finished. For the construction of the temporary classroom, the principal had to ask his friends to help for free, as he simply has no means to pay them.
We are requesting the international organization, NGO, INGO, and through our government.
Currently, the Nepalese government does not have the funding to build temporary classrooms and can only allocate donations made by the international community.
Small school and little damage, only 25,000. And if more damage, completely damaged, we can give 300,000.
However, $250 to $3,000 really cannot do much to help these damaged schools. There are 137 public schools and 190 private schools in Bhaktapur. Currently, the government is still trying to understand the needs of each school, and unfortunately, a rebuilding policy will not be available for at least 6 more months.
In the tent community near the Monkey Temple, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team have set up a hot meal point to feed the over 700 people there. Next, we meet some of the local volunteers that have joined Tzu Chi to care for their fellow quake survivors.
My name is Nima. I can't do much, but I can assist you and you can help them.
Nima worked as a hotel front desk clerk before the Nepal earthquakes, and now she has donned a yellow Tzu Chi vest to help out fellow quake survivors.
I don't like money. I like to help those people. I want to see their smile. When I saw their smiling, I feel so happy.
Another who's helping out is high schooler Silu Arong.
I feel very sad because of earthquake has destroyed all houses. That's why. But I feel that
they can also feel I'm sad, so they are also sad. That's why I want to make them happy, very happy.
These are among some of the volunteers of the Tzu Chi hot meal distribution point at the tent community near Sui and Bunat. Pasang, who is Tibetan, is in charge of cooking the rice. His intimidating exterior hides his warm personality.
I naturally gravitate towards helping those in need, no matter how tired I am while working here. My heart is filled with joy, and as long as my heart is filled with joy, the food I make will be delicious as well.
Happy to share a meal together, the Nepalese people look forward to getting their lives back on track in the days ahead. Though hiking is a recreational activity, it is also a sport. If people are not properly prepared before they embark on a hiking trip, when accidents do happen, things can go terribly wrong. Thus, it is always a good idea to learn about your destination, gauge your own fitness level, and be properly prepared.
One should have the proper knowledge and attire before hiking up a mountain.
像我身上穿的
If I'm wearing jeans and sandals, then that would be a mistake, because there might be snakes or other animals that could hurt you on the trails.
同类啊，会造成你受伤。
Wearing proper footwear not only offers protection, but also prevents injury and slipping. Also, knowing what to wear is very important too.
在浅山的时候，
If you are just hiking up a hill, then wearing short sleeves is fine. However, if you are going up high or deep into the forests, short sleeves won't protect you from branches and insect bites.
也是会被刮伤啊，蚊虫咬伤。
Typically, at the entrance of a trail, there will be a warning sign like this one, but few people take notice of it as it is not law and therefore has no authority.
Here are the 5 points to adhere to before going on a hiking trip. First, plan thoroughly beforehand. Second, tell others your destination. Third, pay attention to the weather. Fourth, know your limits. And lastly, be properly equipped.
Usually, before we head into the mountains, we will bring a detailed local map and a GPS locator, which will provide the coordinates of your location.
A down jacket, raincoat, bottled water, thermos, some dried goods and cookware, and even a change of clothes are all items to consider before going hiking.
As you are hiking, you will sweat and you might encounter rain, which all might lead to hypothermia. At such times, changing into dry clothes can possibly save your life.
我有带一个随时的一个紧急避震杖。
The seemingly insignificant piece of tarpaulin transforms into a canopy once all 4 corners are stretched out and tied down, which can provide protection against wind and rain.
迷途了，我也不知道在哪里。
When you find yourself lost, the best thing to do is wait for help. As you wait for help, the best thing to do is to protect yourself.
去先保护我自己。
Seeing that people don't take hiking as seriously as in the past, Shao Dingguo, who has over 40 years of hiking experience and has been honored with the nickname Goat by the hiking community, decided to open up a museum.
Hiking is inspirational and a trial of your inner self, which can only be overcome with wisdom. You just cannot find these lessons by going to school. This canvas backpack is what we used to use 40 years ago.
Shao's museum by the trail entrance of Beida'u Mountain in Pingdong shares the wisdom of hikers of the past with the public.
Kids nowadays go to amusement parks for their graduation ceremony. Instead, they should be making hiking trips and try to be one with nature. To live in the cities and be away from the mountains is just plain wrong.
There is actually quite a lot to learn about hiking, but as most people in Taiwan think of it only as a leisure activity, hiking is simply not being taken seriously and not getting the respect it deserves. The hiking community hopes the public can invest more time in learning about the sport. Not only will this be better for the environment, but can also prevent mishaps from happening in the future.
At the 26th International Invention and Innovation Exhibition that took place in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, 9 students from Tzu Chi's College of Technology won medals for their innovations in agriculture and medical equipment. Meanwhile, the diffuser used during Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony also won a special eco-friendly award. Holding out their hands, volunteers activate the sensor to release a fragrant mist. This equipment used during Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony won special recognition at the 26th International Invention and Innovation Exhibition in Malaysia.
When you place your hands over the sensor to activate it, mist rises from underneath the Buddha's feet. The mist is lemongrass scented, which not only smells nice, but also has an antibacterial function.
Combining new technology while preserving old traditions, Tzu Chi's diffuser stood out from the rest.
After we explained its different functions, many people gave us a thumbs up and wondered how we came up with such a brilliant design.
9 Tzu Chi College of Technology students from Taiwan also won recognition for their innovations in medicine and agriculture.
Our red quinoa gives farmers the option to not only use the seeds, but also the leaves and the stems. In the end, it increases the economic benefits from growing it.
In order to compete on an international stage with European and other Asian inventors, students from Tzu Chi worked hard to save money for the opportunity.
The students work at agriculture research centers and other related co-ops to save enough money for the experience.
Not only making a name for themselves on the international stage, these students are also putting a spotlight on Taiwan's inventions. In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers seize different opportunities to advocate wholesome behavior across the island. For example, as they continue to promote the drinking of tea instead of alcohol in various indigenous communities, they have inspired residents to stay away from alcohol at a recent concert in Hualien's Nanchang community. But first, let's take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers provided reusable utensils at a Taoist pilgrimage event in Tainan to reduce garbage and thus better protect the environment.
Heading to a Taoist temple, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought reusable utensils, dishwashing tools, and buckets for sorting recyclables. At this triennial Taoist pilgrimage event, volunteers from Jiali district provided all participants with reusable utensils and even helped to wash them.
The participants support our efforts as they can enjoy their food safely because of it.
We have to make an effort to reduce garbage and protect the environment.
During the 4-day ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteers and participants took part in 400 volunteer shifts to wash the utensils, thus saving on the use of more than 40,000 disposable utensils.
Tzu Chi volunteers are taking the lead, and I think I should cooperate and join them to do more for our planet.
Although it takes practice to make recycling a habit, Tzu Chi volunteers have shown that a simple change of eating habits can help make the world a more beautiful place. At a concert in Hualien, Aboriginal singers sang traditional indigenous songs, reminding the audience of the tribe's early days.
The villagers and seniors are passing on tribal traditions and connecting members of different tribes through these old indigenous songs.
Having previously cared for Nanchang residents like family, Tzu Chi volunteers were also invited to present Tzu Chi songs at the event. This is the 4th time Tzu Chi volunteers have held a campaign of replacing alcohol with tea in Nanchang community. They hope residents will quit drinking for the sake of their health and families.
The movement is very meaningful. Although I drank before, I've replaced alcohol with tea, and I think it's better for my health.
Tzu Chi volunteers also invited participants to serve tea to their parents, inspiring them to better care for their parents as well as their own health.
Tzu Chi volunteers from several African countries came together to join a leadership camp in Johannesburg, South Africa, while some seized the opportunity to repent for going astray in the past. Others made vows to take on more responsibilities.
Tzu Chi volunteers from several African countries recently came together for a leadership camp. During the 3-day event, some were reminded of their initial vow to do good deeds, while others repented for not doing enough.
I felt sick one morning and realized I was running out of time. I thank the Master for accepting me. I was once a gang member, and the Master told me being determined to change is the most important.
Another volunteer, Xie Yongqiang, thanked his mother for inspiring him to join Tzu Chi and helping him find heaven.
I was in a terrible environment, but my mindset changed. I now feel that we are truly in heaven.
Oh Su-zhen was robbed 3 months after her volunteer certification.
6 robbers threatened us with 6 guns. We were terrified and held by them back for 1.5 hours. Thank God we were not hurt. I think doing Tzu Chi's work truly blessed us.
Having overcome adversity with gratitude, these volunteers will continue to walk the Tzu Chi path with firmer resolve and greater patience.
This year, Tzu Chi volunteers were invited back to the Health Department of the Thai National Office of Buddhism to hold a training workshop for recent medical school graduates, where volunteers showed them the importance of caring for not only the body of patients, but their hearts as well.
Visiting care recipients, serving tea and sweets to hospital patients, and giving haircuts. These new doctors are learning the importance of caring for the heart as well as the body.
From this time together, I have learned that when we give them a bit of spiritual support, patients grow stronger and are able to do more as a result.
At the behest of the Thai National Office of Buddhism, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a training camp for the country's new doctors, in which they shared words of wisdom and experience.
Being one that helps others is already difficult. Being a doctor or nurse is even harder.
The program, already in its 2nd year, aims to ensure love stays at the front and center of any medical treatment. And the reception, like last year, was overwhelmingly positive.
I believe we will all take this experience and use it to improve ourselves. By doing so, we will all become better doctors.
At the end of the show, we turn our focus to the Tzu Chi academies in the United States, in both New Jersey and Texas, as they hold graduation ceremonies for their students. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching our program. Goodbye.